tuned in to the one and only show, bringing you entertainment stories shaken, stirred, with a little sass and a twist of lime. It's Northwest Nightcap with K-Cee Deeva, y'all. Don't miss it.
I gotta get Snoop to update that intro for me.
Yeah, you can.
I'm just kidding.
K-Cee Deeva, y'all.
You're right. That's my homeboy Trelante. Shout out to him for creating that intro for me. What up, peeps? It's your girl K-Cee Deeva. Me and the crew, we're back. And this is Northwest Nightcap, where we bring you all the latest and greatest in entertainment stories. And boy, do we have a lineup for you tonight. We got all sorts of stuff going on. But first and foremost, hope everyone out there watching is doing well, staying safe, staying not broke in these expensive streets. Gas, groceries, travel. It's just ridiculous out there. Y'all. Hit me up, kcdeeva@gmail.com, or follow me on IG, MZ K-Cee Deeva, spelled as it is on the screen, or hit me up on Facebook as well. All right, let's jump right in because we got a lot of show tonight. Ladies first, of course, the beautiful, the effervescent Miss Princess Robin with the big R on her chest there. Hello, Princess.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Yes. Princess is perfect with the heart because Princess is the hostess of Traveler's Guide to Venus and Mars that you can catch on all major platforms. And it's all about relationships. And all of us have been on at one point in time chatting about relationships in this crazy world. And men really are from Mars. That's all I'm going to say. All right. And below her on the screen, as we're doing this Brady Bunch thing here, the esteemed, the well-renowned musical director for the legendary group Confunction, and hubby to the beautiful Princess Robin, Mr. K-Cee Clayton.
What up?
Thanks for joining us. And this man, hardest working man in the business. You see, you get live calls on air.
We gotta make that money. We gotta pay this mortgage.
Listen,
far be for me to interfere with the bag. Okay, I'm gonna move on over to Anthony. to below me, Anthony Adams. Anthony, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Once again, we always have a good time on here. Lots of laughs. So, all right, let's go. Okay, well, we'll go from laughing to kind of a sad story, but I want to lead with this one because it's been all over the news. Wendy Williams, if you aren't familiar with Wendy Williams, she was a radio host for many years, turned TV talk show host. She kind of disappeared. She had a couple of weird things happen live on the air. She fainted at one point in time. She came back and talked about, her battle with Graves' disease. She's had, some addiction issues. She talked live on the air about, checking into treatment centers and what have you. And then she kind of just slowly, faded away. We looked up and there were guests hosting, and everyone's kind of like, hey, what's going on with Wendy? She's just kind of disappearing. And next thing we know, she's off the air completely, and Sherry Shepherd has taken over her with the Sherry Shepherd Show now, which is doing quite well. So the rumor was that Wendy was coming out with a podcast to replace her TV show. People were excited about that, all her fans and such. We were waiting. Still hadn't heard anything. And then this documentary came out. It's been a couple weeks now. 4-part series. And what we thought was supposed to be a documentary about the making of this podcast and it's like a comeback kind of situation, really took a dark turn. And if you had a chance to watch the series, it was pretty obvious how far down Wendy has gone. People were kind of like, what's going on? She was drinking a lot. Her manager is kind of frustrated with her, trying to, keep her just on the up and up. She's 59 years old, and she has been diagnosed with a form of dementia. And if you watch the series, you can definitely see it. And if you didn't, some clips, because it's been everywhere. It was really heartbreaking to watch. It was tough for me. Took me a couple days to get through the entire documentary because she's very frail, very, very skinny. And you could just see that mentally she wasn't herself. She wasn't quite all there. And as this documentary, and the documentary is called Where's Wendy Williams? As people started to watch it and comment online and so forth, and even some of the talk shows that talked about it. The question is, wait a minute, what is with this guardianship, right? So she was assigned. I just want to make sure I get this right here. So she was placed under a temporary financial guardianship after her bank, which is Wells Fargo in New York, claimed that she was an incapacitated person, which basically means that she's not mentally stable to handle her money. We're talking millions of dollars, right? If you watch the documentary, her son, who was taking care of her in Miami at the time, there was numbers like $100,000 spent on Uber Eats, and I forget what the millions of dollars spent on, different things, travel and such. So the bank saw it as somebody in her family is taking advantage. The son, stands strong in that he was taking care of her. He even showed throughout the docuseries, the video of him taking care of her, taking her to her doctor's appointments and things like that. She had some weight on her. She looked good. She was eating. But this guardianship put her in New York. So she's in New York alone, and her family's in Miami. And they're very concerned because, she's clearly fallen apart. And the only people she has around her in New York is her manager, this publicist that came out of nowhere. So anyway, that's kind of the abbreviated version of what's going on. And people are still asking questions, right? Because we watched the documentary. Now there's been a couple stories coming out saying, well, she's doing better now. And she's in a treatment center and she's getting help and such, but there's still a lot of question. Like, why isn't, what's with this guardianship? Because we saw something similar with Britney Spears, if you remember that. Mm-hmm. And people are starting to question these guardianships. And so basically it's a stranger who is put in charge of all her financial, all her money. And at one point during the docuseries, she even said, I have no money. Like, she literally has to go through this person for any kind of, purchases and what have you. So I'm going to stop there. And Princess, I'll start with you. Thoughts on this whole situation, the whole guardianship thing, keep coming up with these celebrities that, seem to be maybe going through something mental. Like I mentioned with this particular situation, though, her family very much wants to be involved. The question is, are they really misusing her money, and did the courts do the right thing?
So yeah, that's a good question. It was a difficult thing to watch play out for so many reasons. And I guess, if I was to talk about the production of it just really felt like a cry for help from the production people's standpoint, mm-hmm. expose this, maybe step mm-hmm. up responsibility, which I believe her family is truly trying to do. Say mm-hmm. her son maybe did, I don't know, immaturity or whatever, because she kept talking about it was for him, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, okay, maybe not your son. How about her brother? How about her sister? How about her dad? How about her niece? These people were going through training to do this, and they can't even tell us now. They don't even know where she is physically located. Right. So what the heck is up with that? And then there was the one lady who talked about how I can't remember her name. She was an author or a researcher or something, and she said this
Diane
is
Diamond.
hundreds of stories about these professional guardianships.
Yes.
You know, they're horror stories, and Wendy's will get this attention, but she could name hundreds of people. So it is concerning.
It's very concerning. And that was the other big thing, you know, that when I read on the blogs and online and people's comments about it. Excuse me, like I said, even some of the talk show hosts, you know, when they talked about it, you know, the big question is, yeah, where is she? Mm-hmm. You know, why aren't they letting the family, like you know, you mentioned the sister, she said, you know, I told them I'm willing to go through whatever training I need to or whatever to be a caretaker for her. And they just basically just kind of cut them off, you know, and if I remember correctly, Wendy calls them when she can every now and then and checks in, but they don't know where she physically is, you know. And so the fate of their loved one is the stranger's hand, you know. Bro, thoughts on it?
Several things. This reminds me a lot, Robin and I, we talked about this a few days ago. This reminds me of that movie that came out. Was it Nicole Kidman or someone?
No, it was that other lady. I Care a Lot.
Yeah, it was called I Care.
That was the name of it. I Care a Lot, where she was taking over these, you know, elderly people. You know, she was becoming their guardians, and there was nothing wrong with them.
Yeah. She was. It's like she was able to go into public records in some kind of way.
Wow.
You know, she had these judges and things like that. You know, and she would file these claims. You know, and these people would not even be present in the courts when she would get these judgments. And next thing you know, she's coming in saying, "Oh no, we have your house, we have this," you know, she would have them committed to, you know, the.
Oh my gosh.
This was based upon a true story, you know. So that part of it, you know, I feel for, you know, Wendy, truly on that part. On the other side, I have to point out, you know, sometimes you reap what you sow, because she built her whole legacy off of the hardships of other people. You know? And if this was someone else and she still had her show, she would be trying to make a joke about it for ratings. So karma is, you know, I hate to say it like that, but, you know, to a certain degree, karma is, you know, is kind of, you know, kicking in on here. And although it's a sad situation, you have a lot of people that are saying, well, she didn't care about my situation when she, you know, put me all on blast on her show for ratings.
Yeah.
So why should I have sympathy for her when she didn't have sympathy for me or my family or people that I loved when I was going through certain things? So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that sense.
No, you're right, bro. I saw those comments as well, where people are like, exactly what you said. You reap what you sow. Karma's coming back. You know, and she did a lot of damage to a lot of celebrities who are just kind of like, you know, that sucks, but oh well. You know, like you said, she didn't care about my situation. Anthony,
and not just celebrities. It was just whoever was in the headline. Whoever was
right.
It's like just common people. If their story was like the headline, then she would just kind of, you know, spill the tea or whatever, you know, her was. And
she had something to say.
Yeah.
Anthony, so I want to ask you, you know, like Princess mentioned, I agree with her. It seemed like the production company was like, hey, is anybody paying? Like, is anybody seeing this? That's kind of the vibe I was getting from them. Because again, you know, they were supposed to be there to film this comeback story, right? So you can imagine, you know, being the producer and you know, and they're like, wait a minute, like, and I kudos to them, right? Because they could have been like, you know, a lot of production teams, they don't care. They're like, oh, this is juicy stuff. You know, but this production team really did seem like they were concerned, and they were like, I remember one of the family members said they had been kind of checking in with them because they were hearing things, you know, that they weren't. And I really commend them for that. What do you think about Anthony? You know, a lot of people said this is very exploitative, you know, like exploiting her story versus, you know, showing, hey, this is what's going on, and there should be something done about this when it comes to these, you know, guardianship situations.
Well, it's kind of tough because I can see the whole exploitive side, you know, and especially when a lot of these, you know, documentaries come out, a lot of times it feels like they're just exploiting the situation at hand. It's like, do you really have, you know, they market it as, oh, we have this person's best interest, and then the documentary comes out and it's a complete 180 and it makes them look bad. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. I just saw clips of it, and a lot of people were saying the same thing. You know, this feels like they're exploiting her. Why would you do this? Because, you know, in any person's mind, they would say, you know what? Let's shut down filming of this and let's see if we can get her the correct help that she needs to get, rather than, you know, just documenting this. Because essentially, I know for me personally, I'm like, I feel like I'm documenting a train wreck, or I'm documenting something that I shouldn't be seeing. You know, and that's just me. If that was if you're saying, you know, that was the production team, like, we want to show people, hey, this is what she's dealing with and this is a serious matter, then, you know, I'm all for, you know, showcasing that, but make sure you do it in the right light. One thing I also wanted to touch on too is this reminds me of two different things. When you say this whole conservatorship and not being able to talk to her, it reminds me of two people. Like you said, Britney Spears, because Britney Spears talked about in her book how her dad was given the conservatorship, so she had to control every dime that was spent. If she wanted to go to McDonald's, she had to get permission from him. And then not being able to talk to the family, this reminds me of when the Jacksons couldn't get a hold of Katherine Jackson for a while when her grandkids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if you remember
and
that.
we still don't know where she ended. Like, what did they ever say? I never found out what.
From what I heard, from what came out is she was at some like spa resort in Arizona.
That's what the story was. But people are saying they don't know they believe that. Yeah.
And then at one point she actually ended up over in London with Janet, because if you remember around that time, Janet had just had her baby. So she went to London to spend some time with Janet for a little bit. But, you know, I think it was either Paris or Prince. They put out a screenshot saying, let us talk to our grandmother right now. And the family said, don't. I think it was random. It was like, don't. So, you know, it's really unfortunate that these conservatorships, they're meant to help assist somebody, but it's also an example of how people take advantage of other people. And it's really sad.
I want to respond to something that Anthony said too, though, but because the production company actually did shut down production and filming a number of times. Like,
they did.
You know, we're going to give you all this time, or we don't want to be here for this. But Wendy was very insistent. And yes, you know, you can argue she wasn't 100%, you know, she was incapacitated to some degree and drunk a lot of the time. Most of that whole documentary. But that being said, her whole focus, and it true to form, you know, since she was, you know, very young, she only just wanted to be famous. She, you know, they would try to leave and she would ask them to stay. You know what I mean? She would ask other people to leave. Please, y'all, please stay. And she would be vulnerable in front of them too. So I don't know what to make of that. It was odd, but at the same time, it did expose some issues.
Yeah, I wrestled with that. You know, should they just have stopped the whole production altogether? Did they maybe do a good thing? Because like I said, they were able to show that the family really was trying, you know, and show their side, you know.
I think even one other thing about that is, like, they could have stopped, but once again, it's like they could have stopped, but at the same time, they're trying to make money too.
Oh yeah, that's the bottom line, right?
So, and to a certain degree,
and she and her son were the executive producers. So the family didn't say,
right. That's true.
right? It wasn't just her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's what I said. Even with the son, because I can't remember the full list, but there was a lot of money spent. Okay. Oh, I think his birthday party was some ridiculous amount that he spent on his birthday party. Yeah, his rent was like $8,000 a month or something crazy, and he's in Miami.
It may be crazy to us, but if that's what they're used to.
That's true. I mean, I wish I was used to that.
It reminds me kind of like those UNICEF commercials. Where, you see these kids, they're dying of hunger, and you be thinking, man, you would think that someone that's filming this would have given them a sandwich or some water or something. It's like they're just steady filming. They got flies all on their eyes, and but meanwhile the crew is like, keep rolling. They're not helping.
Kurt Clayton, I had never thought of that. You leave it to you to.
I'm just saying
that commercial will never be the same for me. Now,
I'm just saying, you like these kids that don't have food, but I don't see none of y'all handing them no water bottle.
Right. Exactly.
And you hear in the background. And then you hear in the background, in the arms of an angel.
Yes. Exactly.
I'm like,
a very, very valid point. Yeah, so that's a good point. At the end of the day, everybody's in it to make money. I don't know. Well, I think this. We'll see what happens. I just pray that she gets healthy, because she was just scary looking. Like, and the thing was, her mind is so gone. She thinks she looks good. And she, and they showed like not in this particular documentary, but, they were showing clips from her going in different places, and somewhere she was going, she turned and tells the paparazzi, I'm 138 pounds. Well, she's like 5'11" or she's a tall woman. So 138 pounds, she looks like a skeleton, But like Princess said, she always said, I just want to be famous. Since she was a child, that's all she cared about, is being famous. So.
And wishes granted.
Her wish has been granted. Yes. All right. Well, we send prayers out to Wendy Williams. We'll keep tabs on this and see by next month, if anything's changed. All right. Let's move on to Beyonce.
Hey.
Beyonce. The first Black woman to score #1 hit on Billboard's Hottest Country with her song Texas Hold'em. And let me tell you, she got folks mad out here. I was cracking up on IG, Facebook. I'm like, that whole, country's been known to, have some redneckness in some parts. And it was coming out full-fledged with Beyonce doing a country song. Some of the comments, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, people are not happy that she has crossed over in the country. Me personally, I love the song. I think it's a good song, and I'm not really a country fan, but the good thing about this, I think, is that she has now brought awareness to all the Black country artists that have been doing this for a while, mind you. There's artists that I'm following now that I didn't know existed that have amazing voices and amazing songs and such. So I think that's the good part of it. The controversial part is, okay, it's Beyonce. People are like, okay, come on. Do you have to just invade everything? What are you guys' thoughts on it? Anthony, I'll start with you.
I mean, it's Beyonce. Of course she's going to invade everything. Next, she's going to put out a techno album where she's all just knobs and DJing like Daft Punk. After that, it's going to be a full-on straight rap album. No singing.
She's done some rap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after that, she's going to put out a full-on metal album, and I'm here for it, okay? And then after that, she's going to put out a smooth jazz album where she plays the clarinet, okay? And Kurt's going to executive produce that.
Well, somebody that is very excited for her is Miss Dolly Parton, which I think is amazing, because I love Dolly Parton, and Dolly is 78. And, she's like, congratulations to her.
Yes.
So not everybody is mad about it.
Well, I mean, and here's what's so interesting about, you said that there's a lot of redneckness in country music and they try to hide it and they do. But I don't know if you all remember this, but a few years ago, Beyonce actually performed at the CMTs, Country Music Awards, or the
I remember that.
CMAs, and she performed with the Dixie Chicks because the Dixie Chicks did a country version of one of her songs. And it opened up the show and everybody applauded. But the very next day, the CMAs had pulled all the photos with Beyonce from their social media pages, and there was a big uproar about that. So then they had to re-add them and say, "We're sorry, it was an accident. We didn't mean to take them off. This was not anything of race." They basically had to save face. What I find very interesting is, like you said, it brings light to a lot of Black country artists that we didn't know about. All I knew about was Darius Rucker and Kane Brown, and Kane Brown's not even full Black, to be honest.
And Mickey Guyton.
Mickey
Guyton, yeah.
So it's good, but then also here's the thing, for a genre that is not too fond of a Black woman of the hip hop culture to come in and like overtake their and be on the top charts, put out an album, you didn't have that same energy when Taylor Swift crossed over to pop music. You didn't have that same energy when Jessica Simpson wanted to put out her own country album. You welcomed them with open arms and you said, go on, do your thing. But also here's something that's really interesting about country music and hip hop. If you look at it, they're very parallel. We sing about our neighborhoods. They sing about their neighborhoods. We talk about our cars. They talk about their cars. They talk about, the loves of their lives. We talk about that too. We talk about struggle. They talk about struggle, so country and hip hop are really, if you think about it, they're one and the same. It's just the tempo is different and the delivery is different. So why are you hating on Beyonce for doing something like that?
Bro, why are they hating?
Because they're going to hate because, once again, it's all about them wanting to be in control. First and foremost, country music started off as Black music.
Yes, it did.
Same as R&B, same as jazz, same as jazz, same as rock. Right? So when it's all said and done, American music in any form start off as Black music. So their thing is they want to scream foul when they have been the ones that have been foul forever. So once again, they have no problem with Adele being called Blue-Eyed Soul.
Right.
They have no problem when one year, even at the Grammys, I remember one year, Best R&B Male was Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Did bro freeze?
He did.
Yes, Justin Timberlake. I remember that, and I remember everybody was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
Princess, while bro is frozen, are you frozen too, Princess?
We're all frozen.
Oh, there we go.
I saw everybody circling. I saw everybody swirling. So I was like,
oh my goodness, what is going on?
What is going on in Memphis?
Yeah. So basically, it's a situation where at any given time, they want to come back with this whole Christopher Columbus as if they discovered something, and they never did. This was, country music as Black music. The banjo was created by slaves. Let's keep it real. Actually, the banjo was really, an African instrument. So, but once again, at any given time, when we decide to take back what is rightfully ours, then all of a sudden they're offended. But meanwhile, they have no problem, having Macklemore or whomever else being known as Eminem and whoever being the kings of rap or kings of pop or whatever. So to me, that's the hypocrisy of all of it, is the fact that you want to say, well, she's not worthy of this. Like, okay, well, who, first of all, music is music and music is universal. And that's one thing I love about Dolly Parton. Dolly is just a fan of everyone.
I love Dolly. Yeah,
Dolly is all about being equal rights. Dolly, people don't realize that half the royalties that Dolly even made from "I'll Always Love You," she put back into black colleges and black communities.
Yep.
So, and Dolly is the first one to say, "Hey, listen, y'all can miss me with all that stuff. Don't come to me with this Republican mindset of this, and all that. I ain't with it." Right.
I'm so glad that she actually like did a public statement to say, "Look, I'm not trying. Not all of us feel that way."
But and I'm glad she did it, because who in the country world or who in the music world in general would ever question Dolly?
Right. They wouldn't.
If it had been someone else, they probably say, you just, whatever. But by it being Dolly, who is the queen of country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know who did say something crass? John Snyder from the Dukes of Hazzard. Remember him?
And he is yet to have a country hit, so he needs to sit down.
And I was real disappointed because when I was younger, I had the biggest crush on him. I used to watch Dukes of Hazzard every Friday night. And I had the biggest crush on him. And when I heard that comment, I was like, John, I got to cross you off the list because that was foul. Princess, what do you think about Beyonce going country? Do you like the song? Have you heard the song?
I've heard this song, and
what do you think?
I don't like country. So for me, I don't really have any comments. I mean, I'm glad that she was able to be successful there. All the points that y'all made about, I'm down with, you can't claim there's no space for, people of African descent in the country world. That said, I don't like country. I don't know why anybody would just like,
Princess.
I'm gonna just go over there and do that. That's very Beyonce, and I'm just not a fan. And also, I'm slightly uncomfortable with this topic, with my profession, the way that this conversation is going.
Oh, good Lord.
But guess who else worked on the record?
I'm sorry, Princess. What?
Guess who else worked on the record on the whole album with her?
Who?
Raphael Sadiq.
Oh,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Raphael getting that producer and songwriting money.
Yeah,
I love Raphael.
Yeah, Raphael is like, he's like one of her main producers on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
even though he tried to fool us in Seattle in 1990s.
I'll never get over
Remember that Princess?
It wasn't him. It wasn't
him. It was his cousin.
Well, can you blame him for that though?
Yes. I paid my money to see Raphael Sadiq, not his cousin.
You paid your money to see Tony.
Right.
Thank you. Exactly.
And you only got two Tonys.
Well, here's the loophole.
You got two Tonys and a Timmy.
Boy, here's the loophole. Raphael's name ain't Tony. Raphael's name ain't Tony. It's Raphael.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let's move on. Okay. So I'm sorry, Princess. We're gonna move on from that topic.
No, it's okay. And it's valid points. It's just starting to get on.
By all means, respect. Okay, but I do have a topic that you're gonna love to talk about. That I'm gonna love to talk about, and it's one of Bro's favorite people. And we have not talked about this person in so long, and I'm so excited. You want to tell him, Princess?
Drum roll, please. She's just Jenny from the block. Don't be fooled by the rocks that she got.
Bye, y'all. See y'all next week.
I've been looking forward to that all day. I told Princess I can't wait.
Bye.
Look, I stayed for your country rant. You better sit down.
Right. You gotta sit and listen to this.
I hung in there for your country rant. You gonna listen to this, bro.
Oh God. I've been looking forward to this all day. J-Lo, Jenny from the block, Jennifer Lopez, whatever you call her, she's back. Okay. So, if you remember J-Lo, or maybe you didn't know this, she's been married 4 times. I didn't realize it was 4 times. I thought I had 3. I lost track. Okay. I thought, Mark Anthony, I remembered him. And there was some guy like when she was young. And then there was Chris, the dancer guy. And then there's somebody else. I can't recall his name right now. And then so the fourth one is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck. So remember, they dated, a while back. And we saw them everywhere and the paparazzi everywhere and blah, blah, blah. And then they broke up. And then she got with Mark Anthony, had kids, then decided, I can't have my kids, did the mommy thing. I want to get back and be in Jenny on the Block again. So she started doing some music and so forth. All right, fast forward. This past week, she released a couple of documentaries. One is called The Greatest Love Story Never Told. And the second one is This Is Me Now. Now, This Is Me Now is allegedly a movie. I say allegedly because it's really one big long music video, as Princess and I found out. But the premise is based on her life, her love life, right? And so this Greatest Love Story Never Told is the behind the scenes of making this video. So some highlights of this big long music video that she's calling. She spent a little over 20 million to produce it of her own money. Why, Princess? Did she use her own money?
Because
nobody else wanted to pay for it.
The people who were gonna fund her, they pulled out. So she was like, okay, well, I'll just spend my own money then. I'll just pay.
Spend my own money. The thing about it is there were several. Okay, so basically what this is, it's her love story, right? And so when she and Ben first got back together, he gave her a book, and the book had all the love letters that they had written back and forth to each other. And she was just so touched by it. And she was like, So then she made an album about her love stories and her life and so forth. So that's what this is coinciding with. She got this album out. She decided, hey, this would be really cool to tell my love story because, in her words, people are probably like, what the F is she doing? She's been married 4 times. What's wrong with this girl? So she felt like, I want to tell my story. Despite the many people that said, I don't know if you want to do this, including the network that pulled out, or the production company that pulled out, and said, yeah, we don't want any parts of it. And her manager shopped it around to Warner Brothers, like Paramount, the big hitters. And they all said, nobody's going to want to watch this.
The people who did cameos, a lot of them said, don't do it. Don't do it.
Jane Fonda told her don't do it. Jennifer Lewis told her don't do it.
Up to the end, Jane was like,
narcissism at its highest.
What?
Narcissism at
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. And in fact, she talks about in this documentary how her mom was a big narcissist. She's like, she want to also tell she's like, as I did my self-healing and all my relationships, I realized it was from childhood. Dad worked a lot, came home, went to sleep. I didn't get the daddy affection I wanted. Mom was a narcissist. She was always had to be the center of attention. She was the middle child, right, Princess? Jennifer. Yeah. So she's she's got the middle child syndrome where do I fit in? I'm kind of invisible, which explains a lot of her narcissism, right? So, Princess, since you enjoyed watching this so much, why don't you give us some of the highlights that you enjoyed?
Okay, so I think for people who are J-Lo fans, they will love the This Is Me Now. I think they will, just because it's like a video on crack, right? So
yeah, it's on dancing.
J-Lo fans, not that it makes any sense. Unless if you're going to watch it, you must watch The Greatest Love Story Never Told, or else you don't know what the heck's going on in this other thing. That's number
Princess. Now, I told Princess to watch it.
I also gotta say, we done caught her in so many lies in this, because you remember she kept saying, this isn't about me, it's about love. It's a love story. It's not about my exes. It's not about Ben. It's about, just,
Yeah.
and it's
My
an
love story.
arrangement, and it's about figuring out how to love yourself. Now that punchline is buried, buried, buried. They got the little girl in there like minutes, and then she marries Ben. Yeah, I just
And they ride off on a motorcycle.
and I'm like, okay, hubby just said it. He didn't, and I told Diva, I was like, I would not be able to get him to sit down and watch this even for a minute. But it's narcissism at the highest level. And Ben, I'm gonna let you take it away. I just have so many things to say.
I mean, there's so much. I mean, Ben, bless his heart. I got to give the man credit. You see him in this documentary as this very patient. He's trying to be supportive, even though you can tell he's not 100% on board with it. He's not 100% comfortable with it, and try to kind of talk her out of it, like the 100 other people that try to talk her out of it. But she was headstrong. She was like, no, this is my story. I got, it's like she's trying to explain. And Jane Fonda said this. So her and Jane Fonda are good friends. I don't know if you remember, they did a movie called Monster in Law a while back. And Jane Fonda's kind of like a mentor. When she took it to Jane Fonda, because she wanted her to do a cameo, Jane Fonda was like, why are you doing this? I'm sorry. I think it's a huge mistake. She's like, I think you're putting yourself out there to be ridiculed. Like, she was very frank with her about it, and she because they've been ripping it to shreds in the media. And Princess learned this today. Do you remember she mentioned where she was going down the list of people? So all these stars that she tried to get Anthony Ramos, who was in The Heights, and he was on Hamilton for a minute.
Yes, and she lied. She was like, he says he's my husband, he's my ex-husband's friend. But I'm not talking about him in the movie. Right.
And remember she's mentioned Lizzo. Well, Lizzo came out and said, let's see, let me get her exact quote. She said, nobody told me nothing. Nobody asked me. And then she said, J-Lo, I love you.
Oh.
So
did she try to get Diddy?
She didn't try to get Diddy.
She was
no.
talking about him as one of the characters. I mean,
well, that's what I was trying to figure out. Who was who? It was so confusing. I was like, there's one black dude. Was he supposed to be Diddy? Like, I was confused.
Yeah.
Did she talk about Tommy Mottola?
Nope. Nope. She didn't talk about specific names, right? She just
talked about Drake.
It's very
it was primarily people that she married.
Right, not just dating.
It was primarily husbands.
Drake, time out. Did I miss something?
Yeah, they briefly dated for like a hot second.
Oh. Yeah. Was this pre-Barrette stage? He's going through
this is back when Drake still
ribbons in his hair and stuff.
Wavy hair. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yes. So what Princess said, if you're a J-Lo fan, I'm actually a J-Lo fan. I'm a Jenny from the Block fan. I like that. When she did the song with Ja Rule, I like that music. I like the music then that she did in the 90s or the 2000s.
All the music that she stole?
Well, yeah, that she appropriated. But I was digging it. Yes, the dancing. There's a couple songs now that are okay in the video, whatever. But Princess told you right. You must watch The Greatest Story Never Told, which completely lost. Because I was like, Princess, let's talk about this on the show. She's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna watch this now. So then she texts me and says, I'm looking for this behind the scenes thing you're talking about. I'm not finding it. And this video is making no sense. So yeah, if you see the behind the scenes, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's still parts that just are all over the place, but it'll make a little bit more sense.
It makes sense to her because it's her.
It's about her.
She really could just be like, "Oh, I made this movie for myself. Come on, kids, let's sit down and watch this in the media room or
Right.
something, and that would have been fine.
just
But
like
you know what? The closing, you probably caught this, Diva, and Ben was like, I'm not comfortable putting myself out there, talking about, and he's saying this the whole time, right? He goes, I don't even think I'm comfortable with this right now, but it's not about me. I was happy to know it's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's all
about you.
It's all about you.
Ruined her life.
And it's all about you to the point where everyone that you knew said, don't do it. And you still said, I'm going to do it. So that's when you know it. And even especially if they're coming out and admitting that they said, don't do it.
I'm surprised they kept all of that.
But
Me too, princess.
But here's the kicker.
Nobody.
But here's the kicker.
This is great.
She didn't just put out one situation. She put out two.
But she needed the other one to make sense of the
It's like the roadmap, because otherwise you will be, trust me, you will be lost.
One was not enough.
The giant princess, did you realize that there was a giant heart? I didn't know what the hell that thing was.
Until I watched the dang, this is the greatest love story never told. I just thought that it looked like a spaceship to me. I didn't know what it was.
Okay, I'm getting
and then they got flowers.
I'm getting uncomfortable.
I need to.
Okay, let's end this. All right, we talked about it enough.
Oh, you trying to pull the uncomfortable thing, Kirk Clayton? Talk about it when you.
All right. Well, that was especially for you, bro, because I know how much you love J-Lo.
She wanted to babe.
It's almost time to wrap up. So okay, I want to talk about this, bro. We're just since you're not cutting, we're just gonna throw the ball in your court here. So this Tiffany Red, who is a songwriter, has accused quite a few artists, Usher, Zendaya, Beyonce, calling them out for stealing songwriting credits. Now I don't know how this whole thing kind of works, so hopefully bro can give us some insight on it. But yeah, she said, and I remember seeing she did a video on IG, and she was kind of like irate about it, and I was like, who is this woman? Like, what is she talking about? And she was in tears. She's saying so many writers get kind of screwed over. They do all this work and their name isn't listed, or she did this whole rant. And then, these articles started coming out. Bro, how does this all work? Like, okay, you're a songwriter, you write a song for, let's say a Beyonce. How could someone like a Beyonce, or how could the artist steal the credits? I don't understand that whole, what does she mean by that?
Well, it's a little tricky. First of all, if you here's the thing. If you already have your paperwork done on the front end, then there's a lot of stuff that they can't do on the back end.
Okay.
With that being said, you also have to realize that when you place a song, and this is what a lot of songwriters are trying to place songs to different artists. And when you place a song to certain artists of a certain level,
mm-hmm.
they're going to require a certain percentage, which to a certain degree is justified. For the simple fact, if Beyonce says, hey, I'm going to do one of your songs, well, you already know 98.9% that song has a good chance of being a hit. Mm-hmm. Or being part of a hit collection. Mm-hmm. That song may not be the number one song on the record, but if that album goes platinum, guess what? You get a platinum plaque. You're on a platinum record. You get platinum royalties. So you have to. So that's part of the game. It's like, and when that happens, when you play, now you have the option to say, no, I don't want you all to do my song. Now that's another
Oh,
thing. So that's another thing that she's not saying is say, oh, hey, so many people get screwed or whatever. Okay, they have two choices. You can allow this artist to do your song, and you make whatever royalties off of it.
Mm.
Because now she's not saying that they're stealing. She's saying they're getting a percentage. Where there's an old saying in the business: would you rather have 25% of something or 100% of nothing? You follow me?
I think so.
Because here's the thing. If Beyonce or whatever says, if they say, listen, we got to add 25% of this song, so you keep 75%.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have 75% of something?
Oh, I see.
Or would you rather have 100% of nothing? Because if Beyonce don't put that song out, then guess what? That song is just sitting on your laptop.
Right. Got it. Okay.
You're not making any money. You're not, and on top of that, you're not able to have these credits that allow you to get, now what you may not make over here, you can make on the back end on another situation because, Beyonce may have said, I got to have 25% of this song. But now you can parlay that because now you got a song that you co-wrote with Beyonce. Now you can go over here and parlay and say, well, I got to have X amount of dollars up front. I got to have X amount of publishing on the back end. Well, what makes you think you can do it? Well, because I'm associated with Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to understand how the game is played. And I don't believe in ghostwriting, but yeah, there have been people that have been considered ghostwriters. And a lot of times what that is, they sign what is called a work for hire. Now, they wrote the song. They clearly wrote the song. But they signed away all their rights to the song.
Oh,
right?
That's crazy.
They got X amount of dollars up front, and they had to sign a work for hire saying, hey, listen, once we give you this check for $100,000 or $200,000 or whatever the number is, or $50,000 or whatever it is, depending on their circumstances, they signed away that.
So what is she whining about? If that's like how the big,
she's probably whining about she feel because the certain song that she's probably been affiliated with, more, and on top of it, it's probably a situation where she got what she got, and the money's gone.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because just like anything else, a song is hot for so long. That money is coming in for so long, and as soon as that song falls off, and the people can move on to the next thing, those royalty checks start to dive. So when you was making $50,000 every 3 months, now all of a sudden you get a $500 check, then all of a sudden you get a $50 check. Right?
It's like, I better start.
And you haven't parlayed that into other hits. Right? So that's why you got to understand how the business is played and how you have to use situations to your advantage and know how to maneuver yourself and get people that can go out here and say, well, hey, she did a song over here, she did a song over here, they did songs here. Now, are there people out here that steal songs? Yes. I'm not saying that they don't steal songs. But what she is talking about, she said that she did these songs for these different people, right? She got credit, and she said, and they took a percentage. She never said they took all of it.
Right.
She said they took a percentage. Well, they took a percentage because they were putting you in a better position because guess what? They had a whole lot of people submitting songs. You're not the only person that was submitting songs to them.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, you got a choice. Either you can say, no, I'm going to keep this song and I'm going to wait on a better situation, which it may not come. Or you say, let me strike this deal and let me make sure that I get all my paperwork in order. Make sure that, hey, my credits are done right. Make sure, whatever the percentages are, that you're comfortable with that, you're good with that. Because to a certain degree, yes, certain artists a Michael Jackson, a Beyonce, a Justin Timberlake, a Bruno Mars, or a Taylor Swift, or whomever, they are in the driver's seat because at the end of the day, they are the artist that's promoting your product. You're not singing the song. They are.
Yeah.
And 75% sounds pretty good to me, but that's just me.
75% or 50% or even 20. Look, I've got songs that I got 25% of. Right? But I had, and trust me, and I did the whole song. But for that song to get up the food chain to where it was going to feed my family, I had to say, listen, is this worth? Would I rather have 25% of something than of nothing?
Yeah,
well,
that makes sense.
Go ahead, Anthony. I was gonna say just an example of saying 75% of nothing or 100% of something. If you think about it, we talked about it earlier with "I Will Always Love You." Elvis wanted to record it.
Yes.
Colonel came to her and said, "Okay, here's the deal. We're going to take 100% of this song." And Dolly was like, no, I wrote that song. I can't give up 100% of it because I know he's going to make it a hit. So then he waited. So then she waited, of course, gave it to Whitney, and Whitney, gave her.
Actually, she put it out herself.
Oh.
Yeah, but so she has a version of it. Yeah.
Well, no, Dolly had one. No, because Dolly's was the original, and then Elvis wanted to do a cover of it.
Yeah.
And then,
okay.
Yeah, and then that's what happened. But I wanted to ask this question real quick, bro. Let's say, for example, I write a song for Howard Hewitt, right? As an example. And Howard says, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to give you 25% of these royalties to this song for songwriting credits. Okay, cool. But then let's say Howard wants to re-release the album as like an anniversary gift 10 years later. Can I come back and renegotiate and say, okay, you gave me 25%. I want 50% if you're going to renegotiate this?
Well, see, here's the thing. What everybody's not realizing, there's two checks that are coming out of this. You're getting, if you wrote the song, not only are you the writer of the song, but you are also the publisher of the song. So you get two checks, right?
Right.
Is the same percentage?
Yes. But here's the thing. You can say, listen, I wrote this song. And a lot of times what happens is they'll say, listen, we want the equal amount of percentage that we get in writers, we get in publishing. Or sometimes they'll say, well, tell you what, you can be, you can have, 80% of the writers, or you can have 50% of the writers, but we got to get 50, we got to get 25. The record company's got to get 25 because that's the only way the record company's going to make their money. The record company can never say that they wrote a song. The only way the record company can make money off the song is off the publishing, right? So keep in mind, yeah, you wrote the song, but you didn't spend $250,000 promoting the song and market. You didn't spend another $500,000 marketing the song. The record company did that. So how did they get their money back? It's all an investment, right?
Okay.
So here's the thing. If you write a song for Howard Hewitt, and Howard says, oh, hey, man, keep in mind, everything's negotiable. He may say, hey, man, I got to get, okay, I'm going to give you 25. You say, no, tell you what, let's do 50. Let's do 50-50. He may say, no, let's do 60-40. Until you guys come to an agreement, it's still your song. Right? Okay. And then after that, even if he re-releases a song, every time that song is re-released, use this song on American Idol, you get two checks. You get a check as Anthony, the writer, and you get a check for A-Dog Publishing.
You're getting paid.
Okay, I hate to cut us off, but because this is pre-recorded, it's only gonna let me have an hour. So that was good info. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time, and have a good one.
K-Cee Soul, baby.